New mob variants, changes to the spear, massive modding news, Mojang services going down, 12-year-old bugs finally being fixed, and creative mode no longer being considered a cheat? This week in Minecraft has been very eventful to say the absolute least. Hi, I'm Cam Engine and welcome to my weekly series called This Week in Minecraft, where just as the name suggests, we talk about everything that's happened within the Minecraft community in the past week. Now this week, as always, we have got a lot of things to talk about, so I'd just like to remind you that there are timestamps to specific subjects in the description of this video if you're here for something specific, that is, but otherwise, let's just jump right into this week's news. So first up, we gotta talk about the two new mob variants that Mojang just revealed on Tuesday with the Snapshot 25W44A, which are the Parched Skeleton and of course the Camel Husk. Now starting with the Parched Skeleton, we found out that it spawns in deserts exclusively in groups of 4 and will be replacing around 50% of regular skeletons we normally see. Additionally, the skeleton doesn't burn in sunlight and actually shoots arrows of weakness, which is really awesome because we can now use the skeleton to cure zombie villagers without actually technically having to go to the nether. And lastly, it has a slower rate of fire compared to normal skeletons similar to the bog skeleton, and it does not spawn in caves, only spawning under the sky similar to husks. Which, speaking of, next we have the Camel Husk, which is an undead camel variant that spawns in deserts at night and spawns with 2 riders. The first rider being a husk wielding an iron spear and the second being a parched skeleton, making it a deadly combo to run into. Like the parched skeleton and like husks, they don't spawn in caves and are only hostile if the rider is a hostile mob, meaning if you kill both the riders they will actually become passive. As a little bit of a final note of things that we got to know about it, they cannot be bred and are actually rideable with a saddle, making them one of the, in my opinion, most awesome features coming in the Mounts of Mayhem drop. Now moving on, but staying related to our previous topic, we have seen some massive new changes to the spear lunge enchantment that came in the Snapshot 25W44A. For any of you who have not been following the snapshots and don't really know, basically the new spear weapon coming in the next drop is getting an enchantment called lunge, which effectively allows you to dash forward between 2 to 12 blocks if used correctly. However, one big negative to this enchantment that was noticed early on was that using the spear with the lunge enchantment would actually increase the durability loss by a significant amount depending on the lunge enchantment level. So for example, a lunge level 1 enchantment on a spear would use 8 durability per use. Then a lunge level 2 enchantment would use up to 32 durability per use. And the level 3 enchantment for lunge would actually use 128 durability per use, making level 3 pretty much unusable in most cases. To give you a perfect example of this, if you had put lunge level 3 enchantment on a wooden or gold spear and used it, it would instantly break. And if you added it to a netherite spear with unbreaking 3, you'd get around 64 uses out of it, which again might not sound all that bad, but until you realize a couple of snapshots ago we didn't even have the ability to add mending and lunge to the same spear. However, thankfully Mojang has made some massive efforts to change the spear for the better, with them first allowing us to add mending to it alongside lunge, and then with the previous snapshot they changed it so that using lunge now consumes hunger points rather than durability. The way this would work is that spears at lunge level 1 would consume 3 hunger points per use, and level 2 would consume 4 hunger points per use, and level 3 would consume 5 hunger points per use. But the reason why I'm mentioning all this is because in the latest snapshot they've changed it again, reducing the number of hunger points consumed by using lunge across all enchantment levels. So now level 1 lunge actually only consumes 1 hunger point, level 2 consumes 2, and level 3 consumes 3. Additionally, Mojang did add a durability cost of 1 for using lunge across all enchantment levels, but overall this was a massive great change to the spear and I'm sure you'd hopefully agree. And finally, for our last bit of news related to the Snapshot 25W44A, we've got Mojang changing what many players consider to be a bug after 12 long years. So if you didn't already hear about this, Mojang made it so that horses, mules, donkeys, and camels no longer sink in water while being ridden by a player. Now this was huge because if you don't know, since horses were added to Minecraft all the way back in 2013, players have complained non-stop about not being able to ride them in water. Basically, the way it would work, and the way it still works until this update itself comes out, is that whenever you try and enter water that is more than 2 blocks deep with a horse, the player will be automatically dismounted from the horse. And it just sucks honestly, because it means that most times you'd either have to struggle to get your horse across oceans by either dragging them in a boat with a leash, or you'd have to just give up, leaving them to fend for themselves. However, in the next update, as mentioned, you'll thankfully now be able to finally ride them across any oceans. Moving on to our next bit of Minecraft news from this past week though, we've got Mojang removing obfuscation from Minecraft Java Edition, which was huge news for Minecraft Java mod makers. Now the reason for this is because obfuscation is the action of making something obscure, unclear, or unintelligible, and it's mostly used by game developers to prevent their games from being easily pirated. As mentioned in the official announcement post on Minecraft.net, Minecraft Java Edition has been obfuscated since its official release, with Mojang saying in regards to this that this obfuscation meant that people couldn't see our source code. Instead, everything was scrambled and those who wanted to mod Java Edition had to try and piece together what every class and function in the code did. So essentially the dumbed down version of what that means is that this thing Mojang is now removing made modding Minecraft Java Edition harder, and now with it being removed it will not only make it easier but also hopefully quicker. Which, as someone who plays Minecraft Java Edition with mods and as someone who actually owns a Minecraft Java server with plugins that all need to be updated every single time a new drop or major update is released, this is extremely good news. Now for anybody curious, Mojang did clarify clarify that they will be removing obfuscation in the first snapshot after Mounts of Mayhem is released. Additionally, because Mojang know that this change will actually pose some challenges for existing modding tools which are typically designed for obfuscated code, they'll actually be helping modders prepare for this change. Starting with the next snapshot, they'll be providing unobfuscated experimental release versions alongside obfuscated ones, which will allow modders to test their tools and workflows before Mojang fully transition to non-obfuscated versions. So yeah, this really is a massive win for Minecraft Java mod makers, and of course more generally the Java player base at large. But moving on to our next bit of Minecraft news from this week, we've got to talk about Minecraft servers going down globally. So if you were fortunate enough to not notice this when it happened, essentially on Wednesday a lot of services that work under Microsoft Azure, which is Microsoft's own cloud service, actually fully went down. Now what this meant for Minecraft players is that they couldn't connect to servers, realms, or if you're like me and play Java via a Minecraft launcher, they couldn't even play single player. So naturally, as you can imagine, this led most players such as myself who rarely touch grass to get very frustrated, but thankfully after a painful 8 hours everything went back to normal. And now winding down with our last bit of Minecraft news from this week, we've got to talk about the news that Mojang has officially declared creative mode not to be a cheat. And yeah, you heard that correctly. So to give some credit, I heard about this via Twitter from Minecraft add-on creator Smokey Stack, who posted saying the following: "Here's something annoying, Mojang just marked this as won't fix. This was a nice quality of life feature that got taken from us." Below this text, he shared a photo of a bug report someone had made back in 2022 regarding how when using the new OR UI and choosing creative mode, it didn't enable cheats by default, meaning you could literally play in creative and still earn achievements or trophies. Now this just seemed like an obvious mistake because, as you all no doubt know, whenever you enable creative mode or start a world in creative mode, you enable cheats as you are no longer playing in survival. And with that, you'd imagine that Mojang would have quickly and easily fixed this little issue, but it appears they have marked this bug report as won't fix and resolved, meaning that this is not something they want to change. Now I'm not too sure about you, but this is something I personally do heavily dislike, and it appears that the broader Minecraft community at large feels similar, with multiple popular figures in the community such as IBX Toycat, Silent Whisperer, and even Phoenix SC shared their thoughts on the change. To be honest with y'all, I'm not that surprised though by this news, because back in October 2024 we heard that Mojang were actually testing in Bedrock previews if keep inventory should be considered a cheat, which to me was just the easiest early indication that they were perhaps moving towards trying to make the game easier for no doubt their younger audience, which of course I do understand, but I really do hope that they keep these things as cheats. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, with all of that being said, that is the end of this week in Minecraft. I want to say thank you all so much for watching it. If you did go to enjoy it, please share it with your friends, drop a like, and let me know your thoughts on all of the news that I covered today. Also be sure to subscribe and turn the notification bell to stay notified for when I release any other Minecraft news related content on the channel. And other than that guys, thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.